Alright, so hello. I'll be doing a little tutorial video. This is the first time that I'm doing a tutorial video for a game. It's gonna be a bit step by step. So yeah, here we have the main menu of DSS 2, which is made in a Viking engine. And the first thing that I'm going to show you is a little bit of stuff that I have preset. So if you want to follow my preset stuff, you can do that. Basically, master volume I have set on 0 for this tutorial. All of that stuff out. Model lighting so it's easier to see and read for people. Panel zoom I have enabled by default. Autosave I have enabled. The 5 times speed because I usually by default play on 5 times speed and then I pause if I have to do some orders or something. I'll show it through playing in more detail. Then I have extended build queue. That's kinda I'll explain a bit as we play the game. Low memory garbage collection, that one is always useful. Otherwise, you might have a little bit of a problem with your performance in long playthroughs. But yeah, we are just gonna start a new game. No time to dilly-dally. I'm just gonna set the default settings 1-1, just to show by default settings. Then you have like central gold, which is nice. Pause and command, yeah. I disabled the tutorial. The tutorial locks you in normally. Until you complete it, you don't have access to all the buildings. There is some stuff going on. Map seed I've disabled. I'm gonna set this on 75, which is I think the default, and sandbox. The world was small. Why not tiny? Because on tiny you have a higher chance that your province doesn't start with mines, with certain mines. But yeah, then we go to next, and as you can see, I have casual play controls disabled, and I have Carolus Kex, because why not? It's basically one of the flags on your profiles. You can edit them. This is the full beta. I will explain that early on. The full beta has a little bit more optional settings than the what do you call it? The game beta. You don't have the extra modes, from what I can remember off the top of my head, enabled. But yeah, back to this. You just go next. Yeah, this one. Start, and you start on this map. I instantly press pause, space button, so it goes on pause, so I can basically see what I'm starting with. Yeah, I'm that kind of player. And as you can see, here's the world. And the first thing I do is always save after the pausing. And then you can see two factions that are lighted up beside them. Those are like the antithesis of each other. I mean, so basically they're enemies. You can't become friends with them. You can't ally with them. If you declare war, you can't ask for peace, from what I remember. And somehow they are allied with each other. Okay, we're having a spicy game. So I'm gonna zoom in with the mouse, scroll in, and as you can see, you have a little bit of an army and 3 provinces basically. So here's another few squads, and they're there. So I'm gonna zoom out again, and I'm just gonna start with the UI. And this is your money. So this is the money you have, and this is the money you get. If it's a minus, you lose money. So income and I don't know, tax something. And then you have like workers, military strength. You have 47. So those are your 3 starting armies. Then you have diplomacy points. These ones you can use to, for example, if I press this nation, I zoomed out a little bit. If you press this nation, you can change your relationship to good or to ally if you have it, or declare peace, truce. That's the use of diplomacy points. And then you have like food. Because I paused the game after I started it, you see a 0 here. So there was no food made or eaten. That's why it's 0. Then we're gonna go to money. Maybe, yeah, money. You can see it's not just money, it's your entire economy. You have food income and food spending. Well, the average from the last minute. because we just started and it's zero. You know, tax income, how many per workers you get. So basically, your primary source of money in the beginning is uh, taxes. You gain taxes with workers. You spend money on servicemen, army, and if you don't have food in a province, like uh, edible food, there's two types of food. I'll explain that in a bit. They will use the black market to buy food and consume it. As you can see, you have food spending in your army is like 75, and then you have like import costs and black market costs. Right. Then we go to the fun tabs. The resources, I mean. You have a few tabs. You have minerals like wood, so they're like basically raw resources, kind of. You have wood, you have fuel, stone, raw food, and this is where I explain a bit with food. Raw food isn't edible. Food is edible. Beer isn't edible, it's an ingredient to make food. So you can't have either food or beer. You need this. This is like your primary thing that you have to worry about. You got food, then the next thing is money. Because without money, your people are gonna desert. And that can be a problem. Maybe. I don't know. Then you have you have cooling fluid, that's for later. Linen, that's for clothing. And you have other resources that you can figure it out on yourself. Explaining everything is gonna take a bit of the fun away. Here you have minerals, minables, iron ore, tin ore, etc, etc. Iron, tin, copper, lead. Some of these resources you can mine, but you can't smelt or make with a smelter or caster. Basically because you are not civilized enough, you haven't evolved your technology enough to get it. So I'm gonna name one example. You can mine mithril, but you can't smelt it or make steel, for example, if you have iron ore. I'll explain a bit later. Back to this. Why is fuel over here in this tab instead of the minerals? Because fuel you can make from wood, you can make from a mine, which isn't present in every province. So your primary source of fuel is going to be wood, which you can make in a charcoal maker, or farms. My advice, use colliers, the charcoal makers. Don't use farms, because that's a bit more costly. I'll explain it a bit. Then you have weapons, melee weapons. You have a sharp stick, which is made from wood. Then you have like bronze, short sword, long sword, and then you have like special weapons. Well, I call them special because you need a different sort of barracks to make them. They have like a little bit of special mechanics, like the hand spear, which is like basically your Spartan. You become shield wall. Well, more a centurion with a testudo. Then you have like mithril sword. Then you have warhammer. This is basically AoE hammer. Zweihander is kinda the same, but with a sword. And nightstand. This is basically your cavalry, very speedy. Then you have ranged weapons, and as you can see, you start with David versus Goliath, the slingshot. Then you have the javelin. Then you have a bow. Then you have a bigger bow. Then you have a crossbow, and then you get mithril bow, which is one of the most overpowered things in the game. Well, not exactly, but hey ho. Then we have hand cannon, hand culverin. Those are late game things. If you kind of start with the technology to make them, then basically you can steamroll the entire map. But the chance that you start with this technology, with gunpowder technology, is very low. Then you have like siege weapons, which go here. And ballista, man, ballista catapult you can build early on. The ballista at least. The others you need to research first. And then you have armor, basically the same stuff. You have like starter armor, then you have like padded, which you also make from linen. Then you have like the cheapest, weakest armor, and it goes to strongest. So yeah, that's this tab. Then we go to work tab, which is where you basically set the priorities and sequence of work for your entire empire. These are basically your default settings. If you capture a new province, this setting gets applied. If you change it right now, every province you have applies these settings. So yeah, we're gonna have like move items. Basically, this means they move an item that's on a pile on the ground. So if you have a few trees chopped or something, they move it from the resource that they have. They carry it to the storehouse, at which it then is usable by other people in your province. Then you have gather wood, gather stones, basically wood cutting, stone cutting. Then you have craft food. This is one of the most important ones, where you make food. So they go to the kitchen with some fuel, some water, and some raw food, and they make food that your units can eat. Wunderbar. Then you have craft fuel, which is also high. It defaults on 4, which is good. Then you have beer. I personally advise you set it also on 4. Why? Because beer gives you more food. I'll explain a bit why once we get to technology. But yeah, cooling food you don't really need. Crafting palisade I just skip. Small wagons you don't need to make it in every province. This is made for transportation of goods between provinces. What I mean with a province is basically if I select this city, there's a border here. So this city it rules over this province. So anything within these borders, like these settlers 2/3, maybe 4 borders, belongs to this city, to this city here, over this. So we're gonna go back. And then you have like farming food on 2. That's pretty okay. Fuel 2, I don't change these settings. These ones, auto build and expand. If you don't enable it, then those settings do nothing. You can set them on 1, but they do nothing. And default build order, that's basically if you want to build a new building, let's say a house, it will default on build order 2. Unless you change it. So if I set it on 1, now your house will be on 1. So it has the lowest priority. So they will do any other building that's above priority 1. So if you have 2,000 houses, maybe I shouldn't do that, but use this. If I have like 3 of those houses and I have 1 on priority 2, they will first build this house and then do these. I'll explain that a bit more in detail. So then we go to casting, and here you have the mining things and smelting things. What I usually do, which is basically like a set and forget, is I enable these settings on like 2, 1, 2, silver maybe lower, this, and over here yeah. So what I'm doing right now is I'm telling every province that they should mine these resources and smelt them. What I've done is I basically set mine tin, because tin is one of the resources that you often use. Copper, use that a lot, so I set it on 2. You also use it to make bronze, and then you have the other resources. So what happens now is, if this resource exists in your border, so if I select this province, go to the info tab, you don't see a silver icon or something, but you see a fuel mine. So if this resource exists, they will take that work into account, the workers. So one of them is not going to speed run to the charcoal mine or the coal mine, which is probably one of those 2, and he's going to mine there because I enabled it. Otherwise they will just ignore it. If one of those mines doesn't exist and you have it enabled, they'll just ignore it. And then you have swords, which is basically 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So they're not making it. None of the provinces are. So I just set this one on like 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. So with first we're gonna make the best swords, then the short swords, then the bronze, and wooden stick I'm gonna disable. These ones I kind of skip. I always set these ones on 551 because once I unlock mithril, sword and bow, I just want them to make that. It's gonna take a long time, but I'm just gonna set it for now. You never know when you might unlock it by accident. And these two I just enable on 1. But ranged weapons, it's also the same. It's 3 to 1, and I never care about the sling. I enable the ballista. This one the same. I'm just gonna do this. Basically, this is padded, so you use linen, so that's the best resource before you get iron. And after that, it's basically bronze, iron, and I think then steel and cast iron. But yeah, that's that. And then you have like progress. Okay, this technology. What you see here is a bit confusing, maybe for some. You see like 0 out of 3. So 0 out of my 3 provinces has this technology unlocked. If I hover over one, you can see, oh yeah, what does this unlock? It unlocks the noble house and the bank. And then you see like sharing technology field, house builder, and stonecutter. So every worker that does either construct a building or mine a stone has a chance to generate a technology point, which goes to this field. And it accounts for everything. So for example, a farmer, if he takes care of a farm or an animal, he generates a point that goes into advanced farming. Then you have like casting and so on and so on. Then you see one in green. This means that it's unlocked for all provinces. So I already have this technology. Now, then you have like the city. If you press it, you toggle through the cities, and then you have like armies that I can press. But I'm not gonna show that. I'm just gonna go to the next. Let's go to a city. I have the city selected. This one, I always do this. So then we go automate city. I have that one disabled, and I first check what I have. I have silver mine and silver mine, sulfur mine, fuel mine, but no iron. So I will have to import iron or buy it. I'll show it in a bit, but for now I'm gonna focus on food because that's one of the more important things. Oh, and warehouse and other things. So first I'm gonna show the technology because that's what we ended the previous section on, and that's the technology tab. So in here I have technology. You have 0 out of 60, 150. This is the amount of points you need in order to unlock this technology. So if you have a lot of farms, you unlock it quicker, faster. If you have a lot of smelters and casters, you unlock it faster. And it goes from, I think, top to bottom. So these two tags specifically, you first unlock this technology and only then you can unlock this one. Then you have experience. Here you can see what the general experience is of your province, so with workers. So if I hover over this worker, he's a farmer, decently experienced, but they don't have any other field of experience. So they can farm well, but they don't know how to do anything else. Well, they can make a shack, but they can't make a castle. So yeah, I'm just gonna start with playing because me talking a lot is probably boring some people to death. So I'm just gonna do that. First, I'm gonna set the food warehouse, this tab. What I advise is always just set the cooked food to 20,000, which is the max. And you're gonna probably wonder, how did I do it so fast? I didn't speed up the game. I didn't press the button with an auto clicker. I selected basically this thing, this button, and I hold my left mouse button in, and then I slide to the left or right. It's like a draggable thingy. And then I press 1, like you can see 1. So it quickly selects the other city in the same tab, and I just do that. And I do it again. And now I don't have to worry about food. As long as I have a few kitchens, they will keep making food. Now I go to this province. I have this one selected, and I see that it has iron and fuel. So that's good. So I can start. So what I first do is I place houses on order. Let me check. I have a lot of farms. My water income is 4.5. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a few houses. Like 4 is good for now. And service houses on 1. Service houses you need to unlock the better upgrades, like logistics, which you can then unlock the better buildings and some more fundamental but very useful or like crucial mechanics, in my opinion, to play the game well, or to like conquer the world, which is probably what you want to do. As you can see, in order to get this one unlocked or like build it, you need a city storage, a food storage of 300. How I basically start the game always is I select the black market, I go over here and I press 1, the 100 once, and I do that on every province by pressing 1 and then just this. And as you can see, I now have 300. After that, I just select the logistics ones and I place it in every province. So we have it out of the way early. Alright, so then I'm gonna press on game speed 5. I forgot. They need wood and stone. So the same thing I do here. I just buy 20 of this and 20 of this in every province. And voila, we have one pleb, I mean worker, making a building. So while that's happening, we're gonna go a little bit further and explain some stuff. So as you can see, if I press this city and go over here, you can see they have a armor smith. I don't really pay a lot to those cultures, these passive perks per province at the beginning. I find this more important, like what mines are here. This one has a lot of bulk mines and iron mines. The difference being iron mine mines iron faster, and bulk mine just is more time consuming for worker. And how do I find them? It's basically this. A bulk iron mine is basically a red heap of stuff. Now we're gonna go over down and just check, and we see that over here there's a second bulk iron mine. And let's check, borders go over here. Here is one iron mine, here is another bulk iron mine, and here is another iron. And as you can see, the distance to your castle is big. So here is the second thing that I always do in order to streamline survival of your provinces and basically your empire, is wait until the logistics building is done. Oh, this one still hasn't enough wood. I'm just gonna quickly do that. Oh, this one is done. Yeah, so I'm just gonna show it over here. The logistics building is done, and then you unlock new buildings in general, advanced, and so on and so on. You can also upgrade the building, which unlocks your higher tier order, priority order. So basically you can go to 4 or 5. In the global settings, you can have this enabled, but it won't apply until you unlock the proper tier of logistics. So now you see I have 4 unlocked. So if I have 5 over here and not here, it will just go to 4, I think. City Hall, this one is very important. So as you can see, you have max supported worker limit is no limit. What it implies is you can only have a certain amount of people in your empire, but not a certain amount of servicemen. So this is probably the first pitfall for many. You keep building servicemen, which are used for your army and certain buildings, and they cost money, like upkeep. You can see that they cost upkeep, they cost money. Workers, they generate money, but you can't have more than 500 unless you until you upgrade the castle, which, as you can see, costs a few things, and so on as well. So what I'm going to show how to best survive is you're going to select building priority 3, and I pause it for a second just to check if I have the right province, and I'm going to look around the province. I can zoom out and I can see where my borders are. For some reason I own this piece of island, which is funny, but yeah, I look around the province and I check where can I find wood, stone and mines, because that's how you maximize the efficiency of your province. Once you find them, these three, you build one of the storehouse, one of the common hall. Now, why do we build them? For people that played maybe Pioneers of Pagonia or some other strategy game where people need to eat or deposit resources, like Farthest Frontier or Banished, you name them, the storehouse is your resource deposit. So instead of going to the mine and then, oh, like I showed, this person mined a stone. He's carrying a stone. See, 5 stone, and he has minus 224 energy. So he's basically a bit starved, a bit famished maybe. So he will go over here, mine a stone, probably get hungry. Then he's starving. He's running back to the castle to deposit the stone, because the castle functions as your warehouse and eatery. Eatery is basically common. I'm just gonna call it a tavern. It's easier for me because I keep confusing it otherwise. He drops the stone, then he spends an entire minute or second or whatever just eating himself full of food, and then he goes to his next task, and again. So you're wasting much more time traveling rather than working. So we're just gonna paste another one of those over here, and now if they mine a stone, I'm just gonna unpause it. Let me check if I have enough resources. Not enough wood because this province doesn't have trees. Just gonna do this quick. Those aren't trees, those are bushes. But yeah, I'm just gonna make more wood, buy more wood. I'm sorry. Your kitchen also uses wood, or the carpenter for making fuel. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait until I have enough money to buy that stuff in this province. So I'm just gonna check another province. Alright, over here we see that I have wood and stone, so here it's much faster to show. So I'm just gonna place a storehouse, common hall. As you can see, there's also a sapling over here. So trees, they drop seeds and you make more trees. So you can kind of grow a forest if you basically tell everyone to not cut trees for a while, or just not cut them, how do you call it, a lot, so that there is time for the trees to continue dropping seeds. So as you can see, I'm placing these buildings over here. I don't have other buildings being constructed, so priority number 2 is good enough. Now, yeah. So now I'm just gonna unpause, and while this thing happens, I'm just gonna show you, once they build one of the storehouses, what the difference is. They're still mining and building. So I'm just gonna check if I have all the requirements. Yeah, they aren't building it because they don't have experience. Okay, to explain what experience does. You need a certain level of experience in order to do certain stuff. So you can't have a caveman create gunpowder. Actually, that would be funny. Huh. So how can we make sure that this happens fast and soon, and that you can focus on the important stuff? We build a few schools, master guilds. Once they build, I'll explain what their purpose is. So I'm just gonna do this. Those will be built once they have the resources, and as you can see, I keep forgetting that I need to buy wood for this province, because this province doesn't have any wood. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, that's a bad start for a game, for my province and all that. Not really. You can fix it and overcome this trouble by using logistics. But first, I'm going to show you probably something that you also noticed, and I haven't talked about. You are going into negative. And this isn't student debt. This is your wood that basically you reserved for buildings, and those were built, and now you have to basically get out of it before you can make new buildings. So until you have like enough wood gathered or stored that you are not in the negatives anymore, they won't build new buildings. So you can see they get wood and they disappear for some reason. Oh, they glitched. Ah. Okay. As you can see, it goes pretty fast. You can speed it up by using money, but we're just gonna put a few warehouses and taverns over here. In case they already get the experience, they can immediately build it and speed it up. And another thing that's pretty useful is the stone quarry and the lumber mill. Well, you're probably wondering, what does this do? This improves the efficiency of your gatherers in the area. So you get 25% more stone in the radius. So if they're gonna mine here, instead of 5 stone, you get 6 or something. No, 10. Let's use an example of 10. 10, then you get 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 more stone per 10 stone mined. With wood, it's 40% more wood from trees, and it has a bigger radius. Now, you're probably wondering, why aren't my workers going over here? Because that's not my province. Your workers are province locked. So they will do everything in the province, but if you have like one tree or like one health kit or something, the salvation of your empire kind, over here, they won't go there because it's not their province. This is settlers, where you stay in your borders, except if you have an army or a logistics center. But yeah, they will do this, and in the meantime, I'm gonna show you some other stuff with the mines. I'm gonna focus on this one. This trade is very useful because your black market is much cheaper, so you can easier spend money. You can see it's cheaper to buy stone and wood over here. How much cheaper? Let me go to the different province. It's half the price. You have 50% off. You have discount, man. So hop, hop. I just buy this twice, just so that everything goes faster. And then we're gonna build our food network, food logistics, or well, like cookeries. I'm just gonna build like 8 of them is enough. And to build them, I need wood and iron, or bronze, copper. Sorry, wood, stone, copper. Iron is cheaper, I think, in many cases, because you can just buy it. It's expensive, but it gets you out of most trouble. Yeah, you can see that I already am starving in this province. Shocker. And to show you how it is, I have 0 food, but I have raw food. So I'm not making enough edible food. So I just buy something, just to make sure I don't go into how do you call it? The deficit, and then basically starvation and the end of my run and this tutorial. Over here you have also, yeah, I'm just gonna do this and this, just to you can do this as a quick, um, basically band-aid to fix, to give yourself more time to get out of the basically game over scenario. So in here, I also have enough, and instead of being nice and organized, I'm just gonna quickly build a few cookeries, or cooks, sorry, and a few charcoal pits, because to make food you need charcoal, fuel, and to make fuel, to see what you need to make something, you go to this tab, and then you hover over the recipes. You can see that collier, so basically charcoal pit, they turn 10 wood and 10 fuel, but they also can turn 10 wood and 10 fuel into 25 fuel, which is even better. It's much more efficient than using a carpenter. Now, to make food, you have two recipes. You have water, fuel, raw food, which nets you 20 food, or 8 beer, 3 fuel, and 20 raw food, which nets you the same. The difference being, beer can be made with less water. And water is kind of your hard lock on many stuff in the provinces. If you don't have a good water regeneration or generation, your farms or your cooling fluids or smelters, they can basically use all the water before your cooks get to do it, and then you kind of loop yourself into a end of the game scenario. Now, while that's happening, I'm gonna go to school, and as you can see, the schools are built. And what I like to do early on in the game is select every profession and put it on 4, so that it trains a few workers up to the level, so I can early on in the game unlock most of the buildings, professions, and so on. Just wait. Woodstone, miner. In some provinces, you don't need to train one thing. For example, a province without mines, but I still do it because you have like sharing experience across borders if you build these two buildings. So in one research field, all points get this only for specific fields, but it's basically if you want to speedrun or min-max. I'm not gonna focus on that. I'm just showing like the basic stuff. And instead of the Fletcher smelter that, I'm just gonna do the collier again. Because first of all, I don't have enough mastered gold, and second of all, I want to focus my fix my food economy, like the food income and output. So now I'm just waiting a bit until this is done, because I want this to be done quick. Yeah, now I have -1 wood. Jolly. And as you can see, in some provinces I already have 0 food, so I start sometimes dipping below 0, or my income is going down. So what I'm gonna do to alleviate this, you can kind of, if you're fast or if you know when to buy, it's basically a bit of, you get a feeling for it, you can kind of just make this your sole way of getting food early on. Not advisable, not at all, but it's possible. Okay, so I have enough food to last me a bit, and then Oh yeah, the kitchens are done, and as you can see, now I'm making food. You can see that it's going pretty good. It's like increasing slowly. Uh, and what you want to do, you want to ensure that this bit is always green. Or if you make a lot of income, and I mean a lot of income, like plus 1,000, which is easy achievable. There are multiple ways. You can see now it's 11 green. You want this to be as high as possible when people aren't eating, or even in general. Even when they eat, you still want to have a positive green, preferably across all provinces, but I know it's not always possible. So just in general, because then you won't have to worry about money. So I'm just gonna do a quick save, and since this is done, we can now try to focus on other stuff. You can see income is pretty good, this is good, 0 homes, and this province hasn't oh yeah, you always start with one province already maxed out, which is why you don't see upgrade castles, so you don't have to worry about a worker limit. So in this province, you don't have to worry. You can just keep building houses, and good luck keeping the fat. But what you want to do is fix this province with their wood problem, because as you can see, they still haven't built the guilds. They probably even haven't built one warehouse. Yeah, nothing, because they don't have any trees in the province. While this province is slowly gaining trees from the neighboring province. And if I go over here in this province, just to check, yeah, they're slowly but surely also getting a few resources. Let me check. Yeah. So we're gonna go to resources tab and see what's happening. Okay. What I advise, what I usually like to do is increase the raw food to like 500 on every province, because then you will always have enough raw food for the beer and the food to be made. You basically then can forget about it in the early game. And while this is happening, because I have 3 provinces with few trees and a lack of wood income because of it, I'll have to focus on black market. So I just do this a few times, and I have enough wood. And what you want to do then is build a charcoal pit, because charcoal is much more efficient with making fuel, but it uses wood and it doesn't use water. And this is one of the things that can be a bottleneck if you have a lot of farms, because all farms, they require 1 food per cycle. They cost 1 water to give you some food or fuel or linen, etc. So if you build a lot of farms, you kind of dry up your wells, and it basically becomes a cycle of, oh no, I don't have enough to make food, people are starving, oops. So you can build a few linen farms, like 2, because you don't have the pigs unlocked, like these ones, because they also give linen. You can build like a few of those, like 4, because you don't need a lot of linen, from my experience. And let's immediately start with smelting, because we want to make weapons. And weapons are nice. And also smith. And this one I'm gonna just do lower. And this one too. So they first build the other stuff and then this. And in this province, where nothing ever happens, we see that they have a lot of raw food and decent food, but you guessed it, no wood. I can buy wood over here, or I can transport it from this province, but then I'll be basically using so much wood expanding a lot for construction in this province and also to supply this province, that the workers will probably keep this entire little forest that I want to grow trimmed. Like no trees will ever grow over here anymore. So, and we don't want that. We want a nice little forest over here. Yeah. So we're just gonna buy. We're gonna use the black market, and as you can see, they are building the buildings. So I'm just gonna try to keep a good wooden stock or a supply of wood. Yeah, as you can see, I'm already in minus 600. Because if you're in, if you for example have one wood in storage, like one piece of wood, like one log, and you have like 200 houses that you want built, they're gonna build all those houses. You're just gonna be into borrowing a lot of wood or like into deficient, and then you won't be able to build new houses until you're in the positive again. So that's something that it's good to keep in mind, that you don't do it too hard, too fast, otherwise you're gonna tank yourself into oblivion. And again, I'm just gonna do this for animal care. And why? Because not only do I unlock new opportunities to craft items, like for example beer or smelting better resources, I can also build new buildings, because better builder means more complex buildings, and they do their job faster. So if I have a cook that's an expert, so like Gordon Ramsay of DSS, he will cook food, how much? Like 10% per level faster. And you can go up to legendary, so it's like 50% or 40% faster. And over here too. Oh yeah, over here they're still working. So I'm just gonna check. Yeah, they already cut down the forest. They won't cut down trees that aren't grown, so that's nice. But even then, if the tree isn't grown fully, it won't drop saplings or like new seeds. So that's one way to completely eradicate a forest. Luckily there is also a forest over here, and I'm gonna try to like minimize that. And we have a lot of farms, but they use a lot of water. So I'm just gonna check real quick to see what's better, because the animal pens are much better for making food. They don't cost water per cycle, but they do take a lot more time to give food. So basically, instead of let's say 60 farms is enough to feed your province, you need like 140 chicken coops. I on average go out on like 300 for like a population of 2,500 or like 3,000. It's often around 300 something. It's pretty doable after you get to 300 something, and then combine it with beer instead of water, because the hardest bottleneck for me in the past was always water. Water always destroyed my population economy. Not invading forces, let me tell you. No, it's water. It's like salting the earth. No. And as you can see, I make a few chicken coops, and again I'm gonna place a storehouse and a common hall. I know I can't build them, and I know my builders won't make it because they don't have the resources or the oh, they have the skill. Huh. Alright, so this one is probably gonna build one of those buildings now. Yeah. Let's see, the chicken coops are gonna be made, and then we're gonna do which city? Oh, 66. It's this one again. So we're gonna just do some easy avoidance because we don't have wood. So how I usually fix a province that doesn't have wood, because we don't want to be reliant on the black market and doing things manually. We don't want that. We want to, you know, make a little bit of economy, make a little bit of an army, and then conquer our little neighbor over here. Then go over there, maybe over here. Nice little province over here. and then expand, 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 and then destroy the holy nation and retake the holy lands that they own. So how are we gonna do that, you ask? And I'm gonna show you how. You replace your farms with chickens. Lots of chickens. Like Stronghold 2, Stronghold 1 style chickens. We're gonna build lots of chickens. Because then you don't need water for your farms. Because you need water for that. And we're gonna replace those farms, yes, with these farms, the rapeseed farms. And they will give us fuel. Which is a much better thing than using normal farms for our food, because we have chickens. So how are we gonna do that? First of all, we need money. Again. Because having a good... Ooh, there's trees over here. Yeah, so I'm now in a positive amount of wood again. I'm not in deficit. And as you can see, the moment I'm on 49 wood, they're gonna build all those chicken coops and probably all those warehouses if they have the skill. Let me just hover over it. Required experience, and oh no, they don't have it, but they did finish the schools, so we can speed run a little bit of this, or like set it real quick. And we're just gonna do this. And because I think this is gonna be one of the provinces I'm gonna do a lot of building of higher tier stuff. I'm gonna do wood, 2 house builders, and 1 wood, 1 stone, and probably also a little bit of transportation and cooking, because efficient cooking is good. Now, I'm just gonna select the town hall again. Gonna go to the black market. I'm just gonna show you what happens once they finish the chicken buildings. The chicken coops, chicken pens. Alright, so I have 9 wood, and now with each finished, I'm now in a deficit of 711. So now new buildings won't be made until I'm in the positive again. I think you get the point. So with that build, we're now gonna do a little bit of fuel farming. I'm gonna do that, and as you can see, the chickens are immediately delivering raw food. And with 48 chicken coops, I just need to think a bit. Yeah, it's even better to have even more chicken pens, and to ensure we don't have to waste a lot of time traveling, eating, and waiting, so they can work. We're just gonna build a warehouse and a tavern, store, eatery, or what's it called, common hall, and also try to focus on making sure we have enough food in here so that they don't keep starving every 2 seconds. And why did I buy some iron? Because I need iron for these buildings, like kitchens and stuff. They cost iron or copper. This province has iron, but they don't mine it fast enough. So I'm soft locking myself into how do you call it? Basically, I need a resource to build something, but I don't have the resource because I'm so much into negative that they basically just refuse to make it, while 2 people are just mining it, and 2 people mining it and then smelting it is taking a lot of time. So we're just speeding things up a bit. So as you can see, they are already... I'm just gonna do this. Now I have 2 iron. They're probably gonna finish those buildings. Smiths. Oh no, because I don't have 10 iron. You need like the minimum amount of material to build 1 building. But if you have like 50 of that 1 building, they will all get built at the same time. So that's a fun thing that you might use in the future. With great knowledge comes great power. So now we got that, and they don't want to build it because I don't have wood, and I'm not the negative in wood. So I'm just gonna wait over there, and I'm gonna focus on Let's see, which province can I focus on? Yeah, we can see that this forest is a little bit expanding, so that's nice. And I know I'm focusing a lot of wood and starting up your economy, and it's getting a bit slow even after, I don't know, maybe 1 hour. But hey ho, that's fun. So maybe we should do a little bit of a different thing and look a bit about. Oh, sweet me. What does this one have? How strong are you, mate? 10. Okay. But I need 1. I don't need more. Ooh, this one has like 2. Oh. This one has nothing, and this one has stone. It's okay. Nothing. Copper, iron, deep well. Uh-huh. Alright, we're gonna do a little bit of a different take here. If you want to fix your economy, but you don't want to focus on your economy to fix your economy, you can do something called liberation. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna zoom a little bit out, and we see armies. Nice armies. So the first thing we want to do is we want friendship. Or, well, friendship doesn't really matter in this case with them, because we're gonna need 8 diplomacy points in a bit. And this nation has like 12 military strength, and as you can see, if I hover over this army, they have 7 strength versus our 11.2, which means we're gonna win. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attack them, because they have a nice little forest over there, and also different mines, but that's a story for a different time. So I just probably deleted their entire army, maybe not. So now I'm taking down the city. As you can see, are those workers or no? Yeah, they're workers, they're not fleeing. Alright, so I'm just gonna wait until they take over that army, and as you can see, I took over this province. Now I'm not gonna attack those 2 provinces, because that's just gonna become a bigger problem for me in the long term. And I have gold. And I'm gonna show you something. I took over the province, and as you can see, the work orders that I had for global immediately applied into this province. So you can see it's nice and it works. So what we're gonna do in this province, we're gonna make a few small carts, like let's say small wagons and large wagons. Why? Because they have lots of resources that we need to send to our little nation that's still in the making, like the starting provinces. I don't really care about these ones. What I care about is sending food to 20,000, so that they will keep making food until there's a lot of food. Don't worry, there is no like how do you call it, expiration date on it. Okay, this food is eternal, like microplastics, but actually beneficial for your workers. So as you can see, this province is pretty okay. And I noticed that we have 8 diplomacy points. So what are we going to do? We're just gonna say, I want peace. So now, we do not have war anymore. I don't have to worry about protecting my nation. And that's a good exploit. Well, not exploit, but let's say we did a little bit of liberation. Okay, so the first thing I do is I check if we can build storehouses, which we can, because if you look at the bottom, you can see that by resources we have 60 servicemen, wood, stone, and house builder practitioner. And after noting 60 men, oh, this is already a castle, so we took over their main province, so we don't have to worry about a worker limit. So if I hover over this, there is not a worker limit. Otherwise it would be like specified over here. Like for example, I select this province, you can see max support workers 500. So I need to upgrade my castle. I won't get a free Princess Peach with it, she's maybe in another one, but will unlock unlimited workers. and for this province has a lot of food. Okay, so I got an idea in my head, but first I'm going to show you step by step how to fix a little bit of economy. So the first thing you want to do is set this on 3 because we need high prio, and we're going to build a warehouse and a common hall and one over here, because what is a good way of streamlining and basically making sure your economy runs fast, efficient, and basically getting the most out of it with decreasing travel time, increasing production time, is by building lots of these around the province. Why those two? One, they drop the resource there, and then they just go to the next building and they eat their chow. Basically chow time. Like they used to say, Knights and Merchants. I love that game. You can't build on mountains, so yeah. So we build over here, and as you can see, here's the border, and I'm still gonna build over here. So and why am I building a lot of these? Because it's efficient. You only get like benefits with these buildings. Sure, they cost a few servicemen, but the amount of increase in efficiency that you get dwarfs the like what the few gold that you have to pay for the servicemen, because you have to pay like 0.10. If with a few of those buildings, these duos, I can maintain like 4,500 workers. So then we're gonna build lumber mills, these ones. Why? Because then you get more trees out of a tree, or like more wood out of the tree. It ensures that your workers don't have to chop a lot of trees to get the same amount of wood. So you save up more of the forest. At least that's how it goes in my mind. And the same with stone. And we put the stone on, let me say, yeah, 2. Stone is a bit more annoying because not every province has it, or they have like only 1 or 2 deposits, and they are already mined. So like this one, these ones are already mined. So it's a little bit of a bit annoying, but always important to have, even if you have like a little bit. Getting the most out of your economy is the best. So while that's going on, I'm gonna check over here, and we're gonna look what we have. And I know that we have a lot of delicious things, good things, like giving more wood from trees, which is worth it. Then we have bog iron. Bog iron is but this is the good iron. This is like Scandinavian steel or iron. You mine it and you got it, and it's fast, it's efficient, it's good. Then you have tin, copper, that's useful. And then you have money. With this, if you have a province with this, be it your province or neighboring, get on it. Get on it, because that's gonna like save your economy. Because then you don't have to worry a lot about food anymore. So we have a little bit of food over. Where do we have a lot of food? Where do we have a little bit of food? A little bit, a lot of it. And this is good. If you have already like 3,000 food, 4,000 food, you're kind of safe. Unless, and this is a very good thing to keep in mind, your army requires upkeep. You see food reserves and that. So your army, if you put it next to your city, like for example this army, these few soldiers, they don't magically spawn food. No. They take food from the nearest province. So this one in this army takes from this. This army, I hope, is taken from this. If not, yeah, well, they are in the borders, but they might be taken from that one. So I'm gonna be extra sure and put them over here. And you guessed it, it's time for food. Just gonna buy a bit of this and a bit of wood, just to make sure I have enough to build chicken coops. And over here we see that the economy is starting to get built. And what I'm going to do is upgrade it to this, and I'm gonna build a few master guilds, because if you want to have like, if early on in the game you already focus on having experienced workers and experienced builders, more importantly, you will not have a lot of bottlenecks or slowdowns later on. Like if you go to like the mid game of your provinces, it's kind of hard for me to explain. I play a very peculiar way in this game, so it's hard for me to say what mid game is for everyone versus what I think is the mid game. But usually I build master guilds, schools, and I focus a lot on getting them trained, or at least a few people trained on every, or as much as I can, type of work. So as you can see, I have now Fletcher, so I'm going to select smelter and 4. So in my understanding, if you have some smelter and expert on 4, it's gonna have 4 workers that will be experts in smelting. So 4 workers will already be very good. So I go smithing, and I think, yeah, armor. I'm gonna build a few extra schools just to make sure. You can binge them on, like, put every school on building, and then you will have like a province with only master legendary builders, which is pretty good, but also a bit too focused on like one thing. And as you can see, I already have like a stone camp over here. So my builders that already are, as you can see, I have a few practitioner buildings, so they are somewhere, but I don't know where. And they're doing something, but I don't know what. Magic. But what we want to do is get the logistic chain up and running as fast as possible. I can do it in this province, yeah. So while that's happening, I'm just gonna skip to this, and I'm gonna build postal service. So this bit is going to be about transportation, logistics, a bit. Yeah, even more so if I already was doing that. So we're gonna build a few logistics, and we're gonna buy wood. We need the logistics, and as you can see, the food is already going down from 2,300, from 3,000 to 2,300. That's because my army is here, and they're eating a lot. But what you can do, I don't know if that's possible with not allied nations. If you have allied nations, you can starve them by moving your army next to their city. So you're basically just saying, okay, they're your problem now. Have fun. What I did is I turned them into friends because I don't want to have war with them. And later on, I'm gonna repeat the same action for probably most nations around me, so that I can focus on building my economy before I start going conquest mode. And with conquest mode, I mean building an army and then just basically going, this is mine now. So we have progress, we have schools built, and I stopped on armorer, and I'm gonna do weaponsmithing and coulier. Coulier, I think I'm gonna do more than once because that's charcoal making, and you need I think you needed like experience level charcoal in order to get the better charcoal production going. So I'm just gonna go few times charcoal, few times cook, because then they're just gonna make food faster, and builders, because I want to have as much people in every province that can build the more difficult buildings, and transport for logistics later on. I want as many people as I can to be able to build, for example, these buildings, because these need practitioner level. So if I only have like 2 people in a province of 300 that can build this building is gonna take a long time, and we don't like that. So yeah, now this city is starving because I'm too busy doing all this stuff. Whoop. I'm just gonna do this. Not my enemies. Yeah, so now I have enough stone, and I'm gonna focus on building chicken coops, chicken pens. And we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do 6 by 6, and another 6 by 6, and then I'm gonna put hop, 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 this one over here, and yes, I'm that kind of person. And we're gonna do a 6 by 1, 2, 3, 6 by 1, 2. Oh, is it 6 by 8? Yeah, 6 by 8. Okay, we're gonna do 6 by 8. Also works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 8. Why I'm building water reservoirs is you will have a bigger water storage. Water, like I said, is your is kind of your natural nemesis. You need to take care of it. You need to respect it. You cannot increase it. You cannot lower it, like the income rate. You need to abide by it. As you can see, I have 80 water now, but what we want is a bigger limit, because kitchens, they use water, smelters use water, all those things use water. So if you have a lot of wood, like you see I already have here, you want to prepare your water supply, otherwise you're gonna have bad time. So I'm just gonna go to the black market, and I'm gonna do a quick checkup on all the stuff we have. And I think we lack stone in order to build warehouses. Yeah, so I'm gonna buy 100 stone just so they can build the warehouses. And while they do that, I'm gonna increase or place orders for building more houses. These ones, you want to build them early on, kind of, so you can have more workers, so more jobs get done at the same time. You don't want to over zealously build the service houses, because those people are only needed for specific things. They don't walk around the province, they don't chop trees, they don't do that. They do, for example, your kitchen, your warehouse. You need them to build these buildings and upgrade your logistics buildings, like I'm going to show you right now. This one needs 4 servicemen, but the castle needs 60. So you need to be a bit cautious with it in the beginning, and they also cost money, and you don't want to spend a lot of money. You want to get a lot of money, because then you can just start your economy even harder. So right now we can see they are doing something at the school, they are doing something over here, and I saw that this province has a few things ready, and a postal service. So I'm gonna show you what this does. This is your postal network. Basically, you send items to another province. You probably already heard me talk about it a few times, that I want it in this province, which I already have built over here. And I want to do that to save these 2 provinces. And you will wonder what it might be, and you probably already guessed it, and it's wood. So I'm going to select wood, which means that this city will now export wood, and but I want a cap. I want a minimum of 500 wood in my storage before they send someone to another city, so basically the city with the lowest amount of wood, to supply it with wood. So then I go, I'm just gonna do like 500, and no limit. So what now is gonna happen, this guy, this postal service, is gonna send wood to any other city that has the lowest wood below this cap. So if one city has like minus 173, it's gonna send over there. if all cities have 501 wood, he's not gonna do anything. He's just gonna sit and just enjoy his day. But he will also not go out if this city doesn't have the wood. So if my city has 499 wood, good luck. This guy won't walk. This guy won't do anything. He'll just sit and enjoy his day. So we already have one of them ready. Now we want to go to this province where I have 4 of these, and I want to check what we have. So first of all, we have iron, which is good. Iron is one of the primal, fundamental, like basic resources you need for a lot of things. So what you want to do is go here and we select iron, not iron ore, not iron, just iron. We're gonna select it. Hey, send 30 per delivery. I want you to have a minimum of 200 in stock, or maybe 100, and the receiver needs 200. Why 200? Because it will ensure that if I have orders for building or anything over here, they will always have a bigger supply to draw upon, like a buffer, before they go into 0 or below. And as you can see, delivery error, blah blah blah, up. And if I go over here, yeah, I need to increase iron to like 200. There's no way to do that for all resources at the same time, so I can't have like an all slider and just basically say to everyone like 200. So I have to go per city. I don't have to do it on the receiver, but it's nice because if suddenly I get a different way of getting the mineral, they will automatically do it on themselves before, other ways. So while that's happening, I'm just gonna select the second building and we're gonna look what is over here. We can see that the food is going down hard. We're going down fast. We only have 900 food in this province and we used to have 3000, but we have a lot of raw food thanks to chickens. So what we're gonna do is probably fix our wood first. Yeah, we have a lot of wood, and this forest is also like kind of growing, so that's nice. But we need more wood. We need more wood. We need additional wood, sire. Okay, they're building the warehouse and the eatery. So now you're gonna see what can happen if you have a lot of them. Do we have on other places? Oh, glitch. Pretty fun. That's one's built. I just need to check how they will. Oh yeah, see, they carry wood over here, not to the castle, but over here. So now, oh yeah, and then they go eat over here. They like warp or something over there. Yeah, you can see. Whoop, they go over there. Then they like, yeah, you can see. I can select the worker that's over here, and then they basically go to the next task. So they spend more time working now, which is good. And can we see that reflected over here? Decent. Let me check what was the water. Water is okay. So in order to fix our economy or our food problems properly, we need to build a few additional cooks and smelters, because we don't have smelters and that's why we don't get any metal. So I'm just gonna do this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, and for that we need stone, but we have stone. I'm gonna make wood. Why? Because if you have smelters, after we have stone, they will smelt and they will create iron bars, and then the iron can get exported. And why is this province not having enough food? We can check that. And we see that it happens because we didn't build the chicken farms, because we don't have raw food. Because the chicken farm requires raw food in order to get built. So we're just gonna buy a lot of basically chicken raw food and some wood, so that we can get a lot of these buildings built as possible. It doesn't really matter that we get into a deficiency with this, because we kind of can buy food until then. Let's see, this work priority 2, this work priority 1. These ones are probably 3. Yeah, So as you can see, the wood cutter, these buildings are done. So I will get more wood cut with each refelt, which is good. So we're kind of getting a bit more positive. Positive upkeep. Yeah. So now they're building this. And how many kitchens do we have? 4. That's too few. You need like a solid amount of kitchens for this, for a good working economy. So we're gonna build a few iron over here. And let me check. We have a few charcoal pits, but too few in my opinion. Because almost everything needs fuel. And fuel is precious. Not as precious as food. So we're gonna build a few more of chicken coops. And yeah, so they are cutting the trees, but they're not carrying. That's because I have the order on move items to stockpile is on 3, while I have different things on 4, which is okay. You can change that to 4. I almost never do. 3 seems like a nice middle for resources, but if you want to like min-max, you can go even more precise and probably go to 4. And it's this city that's now out of food. But as you can see, I'm gaining income even though I have no food. That's because I have more workers. Wait, can I show that with this? Yeah, you can see I have a lot of tax income and a few servicemen. So I'm not building a lot of service huts. So to illustrate it, these ones, the servicemen, because I don't really need them at the moment. I can check. Yeah, I have 19 over here. I need more workers, not servicemen. So did I pause it or unpause? Unpause. So the chicken coops are being built. I really don't even have to buy the food anymore. I can just let it go automatically, but that's more expensive, I think. I'm not sure about it, but I always manually buy it just to make sure nobody starves or some other weird circumstance starts happening. And what we want is more wood, because you need like 60 to build this. Yeah. Yeah, now I'm getting positive wood, positive stone. I don't have enough food for the chicken coops, which isn't that bad, because I kind of really want this to happen, but I don't know how many builders I have that have expert experience, because I see they already finished eating the tavern. I see they finished the tavern over here, warehouse over here, so they are doing something, but I don't know where. And it's not that important that I get this one done first. It's important or preferable that I get the things over here built too. So it needs to happen at the same time, kind of. Oh, preferably over here. So I'm just gonna do. What priority? Yeah. So this one built, because this one has a lot of stone and a lot of wood next to it. So it's kind of self-explanatory. Yeah, we have a lot of stone and a lot of wood, but probably not a lot of workers. So yeah, because yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, we have enough experience to build the good hut, and it's best to build these huts instead of these, because they give you more workers. Like they give you 50. So if you build like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 6 times 2 is 12, so I have like 600. But maybe not. Let's not do that right now, because that's probably gonna tank the economy, and I have to rush things then. And let's do a checkup over here, because we need to know what's happening over here. We can see they still lack the wood. Shocking. But they have fuel and raw food. So this building, this farm, is actually doing a pretty good job, because we have fuel, like 400 fuel. That's pretty good. So we're gonna increase that to about 1,000. Oh, yeah, now it's changing. It was bugged for a second. Okay. Let's check. Every province has it. Okay. And I'm just gonna place an order for a lot of chicken coops, because chickens. Chickens, more chickens, and we're gonna do some 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. We don't need a charcoal pit, because that one is gonna use wood, and we don't have wood in this province yet. At least I don't see a magical forest appearing soon. Over here, it's kind of happening. Oh, even here is it growing. Ooh, it's going fast. So yeah, and this one has so. There's a fuel mine. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. You, yes, you're gonna mine fuel. Okay, this one. Some settings I think weren't applied. Just let me check real quick, because this is curious. Yeah, you can see that it's applied on 4, but it's not on the new. Oh, okay. So it's like only new cap. No, also not. No, it's bugged. Okay, so we have to manually verify. That's okay. I learned something new again. Yippee! So one of them is gonna mine fuel. The rest is gonna do that. I'm gonna build chicken farms, and after that, maybe some. Yeah, for later. Just make sure. And we're gonna build over here, and we're gonna buy wood. This is probably gonna tank this province for a bit, and I love that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna wait with buying new wood over there, because it's expensive. Over here, why isn't it being built? Oh, it's being built. Nice. So yeah, this province has built it. See, so it's gonna be fast. So they go over here and they do more work more fast. Do I want? Yeah, I already have lots of chickens and kitchens, so water is gonna become a problem soon. And I don't want it to happen soon. I want it to happen never. So we're gonna do that. And a few chicken coops over here. Yeah. Let me check the food, water. Yeah, it's stable. It's stable. Okay, over here it needs wood. Even though I have lots of wood. Let's see what's happening over here. Okay, these ones are built. Wood and stone are required. Yeah, it's the problem that I don't have enough workers, so not a lot of tasks can get done. And because I have a lot of jobs that have to be done, like transport wood, transport that, they are getting overwhelmed. So it's kinda a problem. But how much? 60 on 300. Yeah, so we need. Okay, now 60 stone. I just hope I don't. Damn it. Yeah, this can work. I just can buy one a piece. It also works. And I hope that in a few seconds they're gonna start building this one. Otherwise, I can just go over here and I can just say, okay, now you need to make it. I don't care what else you're doing, you're gonna make it. First thing. Yeah, one's gonna build, so I will have like 50 new workers that can do stuff over time. And while that's happening, I'm gonna go buy a few food over here. Because you can see, I have enough raw food. That's not the problem. The problem is, they're not cooking it fast enough. And I can check what the problem is. The problem isn't even the amount of workers and food. The problem is I don't have fuel. Because to make food, you need fuel. And making fuel, I have nothing except 6 charcoal pits. And I can make like, let's say, let's make 9 of those. And I'll probably also go over here. Craft fuel is 4. Yeah, because this province doesn't have a lot of that, I'm gonna do craft fuel. But for making fuel, we're gonna go into a little bit of a spiral here. You need wood. So again, this stuff. So what we want to do, what I can quickly do is those, and with priority number, I have the workers. So now I'm gonna build like a few service huts, because I actually have none of them. I have a deficient on servicemen, but I have enough for like 200 workers. So more and more workers gonna come, more and more tasks can get done at the same time, and ignoring the problem with food sometimes. Like this province now, you can see, has like 5,700 food. What changed, you might ask? There are probably a few things, and I'm gonna go through them and try to find what the thing. First of all, there's fuel over here, and fuel is being made from the farm. The mine, small contribution because it's only 1. Water is like, yeah, water is having a little bit of a tanking. I don't have a lot of wood, so the charcoal huts, I don't think I even have a few of them. No, the charcoal is not in effect because I don't have wood. So the biggest contributor now is the fuel, and the second thing that's happening, besides having raw food that can be cooked, is that I moved this army to this province. So now this province is constantly having problems with no food. So if I move this army over here, it will probably change that over time. So I guess this is a proper good way to end this video, because I showed a little bit how to start, even if it took a long time. It's a bit very detailed about step by step, a little bit of going over and just saying what I think. No music, no everything, just me narrating. Maybe I should do Mountain Blade Bannerlord videos. Meh. Food for thought. Yeah, the economy is kind of stable. I still do need to buy food a few times, but more importantly, it's going up and running. It's being automated. As you can see, a lot of gold income. So yeah, the next video is gonna be industrialization, or like scaling up. Yeah, I can do that.